Mozart's comic opera The Marriage of Figaro is based on a play by Beaumarchais. In fact, it's the sequel to The Barber of Seville. Count Almaviva has settled at his castle of Aguas Frescas with his countess, who was, of course, Rosina in The Barber of Seville. But the Count has an old tradition which he loves to maintain, that of the droit de seigneur. This was the right of any nobleman to sleep with any bride, anybody's bride, on her wedding night. And now it's the turn of his wife's servant Susanna, who's about to get married to his servant Figaro. Figaro learns that the Count has decided to retain this ancient privilege and decides that this is quite the wrong thing altogether for his sort of marriage, and he and Susanna conspire with the Countess to try and deflect the Count from his evil desires. First of all, they enlist the young page boy Cherubino, of course, is played as a mezzo-soprano breeches role and has two of the most beautiful canzones, or little arias, in the context of the play, which are two of the high points musically of this lovely piece. The Countess herself is heartbroken at the way the Count has treated her, but perks up when Susanna offers her assistance to try and get the Count to learn a lesson, which he'll never forget. With a great deal of cross-dressing and confusion, Cherubino runs away from the Countess's bedroom, dressed as a maid, and the next part of the plot is set up where Figaro and Susanna try and arrange it so that the Count will meet not Susanna, but his own wife, the Countess, dressed as her own maid in the garden, and will be made to look the fool he really is. In the meantime, Figaro's wedding preparations are going on apace, and the people of the estate come to celebrate with song and dance and feasting, and the whole thing has a marvellous air of merriment and rural gaiety, which is one of the great characteristics of this beautiful opera. In the fourth act, in the pitch darkness of the garden, all sorts of mayhem is let loose as the Countess and Susanna swap clothes and go out into the garden to trap the Count. Figaro is several steps behind, and he's appalled at the sight of what he thinks is the Count canoodling with his own betrothed Susanna on her wedding day. He reads the riot act, the Count storms out into the open, and of course everything is resolved when the Countess reveals herself dressed in Susanna's clothing, and of course it's the Count who's been trying to seduce his own wife all along, and he kneels down and begs her for forgiveness. And in some of the most beautiful music Mozart ever wrote, she grants her forgiveness, and everybody sings the praises of this crazy day.